Hello, hello, my loves, and welcome to EQ with Jah. So, the word whatever, I use it a lot. I say it all the time. I have no issue when someone's saying, like, da 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 about this, whatever. You know what I think about you? Whatever. I'm having a bad day, whatever. Because here's what I've learned there's so much that happens in our daily lives that we have no attachment to. And these are what we call daily happenings. This is traffic. This is stubbing your toe. This is doing everything perfectly perfect the way the little template said to do it. And then a natural disaster comes and it rains or something or a storm and it tears it all apart and ruins your creation. This has no actual meaning to who you are. So for me to attach a random daily happening or someone else's opinion, which is a random daily happening, to apply it to my actual life and character as if it's something I'm meant to apply or make applicable. Now, the whole point of this world and this journey is to choose whatever you feel is meant for you to live by. There's a lot of things that I understand as a conscious being that I know that my behavior or my temperament, which is what is stemmed from, again, imprinting, how we were raised as kids, what we got from parents, whatever the conditional environment was. Let's say, again, if you're boiling water or something, there's a lot of different scenarios we can use. The intensity of that environment is the heat, and however it's turned up or turned down is determined on how you're going to be prepared for life. This is the whole food chemistry. I love food and I love all the ways that different things or the same thing can be so many different elements of itself. This is who we are. As an everyday person who walks through this world, I know that me as Jawan, I have grown emotionally a ton by allowing my ego, which is again the vessel, to see that I am only a bystander. When I was growing up, that was what I was taught. You're only a bystander to the observation of the world. Whatever happens to you, happened to you. You have no control. It is what it is. And these are the things where they're like an open ended moment of really taking a time to transcend back to a place where we actually understand our own consciousness as a child. Remember, the inner child becomes the child of your adult flesh. Do you understand? Some people choose to live in an old paradigm of where their parents are their parents and they put them on a pedestal, and as they should be, that's beautiful. But you, as an individual, you have your own life that has its own daily happenings that are being conditionally imprinted into you, regardless of what your mom or dad thinks now of you or your environment around you thinks now of you. Because what you do when you walk out into the world is you're going to either react to what you've been taught how to react like, or you're going to understand and just react like whatever. If it has nothing to do with you, and when I tell people if it has nothing to do with you, this means if it's not triggering some emotional response, if it's not making you feel like you have to feel anything about it, where you need to dive deeper and trace the pathology of why you feel a certain way about something that seems so trivial or petty to someone else, why do you have energy attached to it? And this is where we get to reevaluate. Well, I was taught how to react this way. I was taught to be short. I was taught to be dismissive. I was taught to be what it seems like nonchalant. And to someone else, this comes off as disrespectful. Again, there are things that are the behavioral conditioning, which is I might seem dismissive, okay, but that doesn't mean that my implied intent was to disrespect you. But because your understanding and conditioning of that type of personality or attitude, now I'm defined by what your parents taught you what disrespect was. Do you understand? So I've had people tell me many a times, well, I find that disrespectful. Well, I don't know what you've been through in your life to find respectful, but I haven't spit on you. I haven't hit you. I'm not yelling at you. I'm not trying to ruin your life. I'm just giving you my opinion. And if you don't like it, you can simply say whatever and walk away. Or you can say whatever, it doesn't bother me, but let me ask you further questions. Why is it that you feel this way? These are the things that we get to do not only with our outside environment, but continuously with their own internal environment. You don't have to choose to do anything. I mean, I love that there's a spiritual awakening and everyone's really starting to see what they're here for. There has always been a world that has been built for us. This is what ancestor has done. They have paved the way. They have given us roads. They have given us food and methods and techniques to do things to survive. And now that we've learned how to survive, we've sat back and paid attention to how the world has always collectively been. We as humans are not any different than any other species on this earth. Our culture as humans is to collect data, replicate it, and then to find ways to stay connected to the outside world that gives to us so we can give back to it. So then, when we get into our subcultural worlds, which are then defined by our cultural beliefs, which are all emotionally based on the interpretation of spirit, the thing that gives us life without us asking for permission, but just does so energetically without needing to do anything. Again, we just wake up. Something is making our bodies operate this energy, this electricity that, again, we see in the eye of everyone that's alive. And once it's gone, you know it's gone. This is the moment of really giving yourself honor and paying homage to the body, your vessel, which allows you to experience every single thing that you're meant to experience. There's so many different speakers and influencers saying it and really starting to pay attention to what they need to. We are just avatars. I am just one energy being that I see the world one way and I interpret it as well how I have experienced it. And if there's someone out there who has experienced it the same way or similar ways to me, based on cultural upbringing, based on my life as a gay man, based on my understanding of what it means to be a black man in America, based on all these conditional things that my body has been trained to be. But none of those things really trained me for my spiritual journey, which was to go into the soul and ask, why do you care? Whatever. Like at the end of the day, you can see who I am all day, but none of that means anything when I'm by myself and I'm going through what we call depression and anxiety and stress and happiness and joys and pleasure. But it's understanding how to differentiate why they bring you pleasure and why they bring you life. Because as a child, something was introduced to you that made you realize, this is comforting. I like this. Ooh, this is scary. I don't like it. Or I experienced it. I don't like it. This is all for your data to be collected in this little computer chip brain that we have so that you start understanding that whatever happens to you every day, we have no control over. Now, how we react to whatever happens every day in our daily happenings are is what we say we're in charge of. We're always in charge of how the reaction's going to go. Remember, you can get pissed, more pissed, or more, or you could be like, you know what? Acknowledge being upset. Don't dismiss it, because I always tell people, they're like, oh, I can't just get mad. No, no, no. You can get upset. You can acknowledge any emotion as long as you acknowledge it, which is the engagement of the inner child. So then the inner child feels, I'm being heard. I'm being seen. I don't need to fight as hard with you for something that we know we both don't believe in. But if you yourself are going through your daily life and saying, oh, I'm having a bad day, I'm having a bad mood because so-and-so says something about how you do something, now, not only are you frustrated and you're pissed off about someone else's energy that you transfer to yourself, now you're demeaning your inner child because when they're like, oh, I don't want to feel this way. I don't like this. I don't like them. Okay, but you don't like them. But now what can we do to calm you down? I don't know. I want to be mad. I want to be petty. Okay, well, you'll be petty and it might make you feel better. But guess what, my love? Being petty and getting away with it doesn't mean that you won. That just means you added more growth to your soul for later. You know what I mean? You can keep trying to push it away and act like, oh no, I'm good, I'm perfect, I work on me, boo boo. I can do. I know a lot of people who can move their neck and click clap real fast, and I mean anybody who has learned how to again study the culture of Black women. Don't get it wrong. I understand where the click clap comes from and the association to it, but now that we all have adopted it as our personality type, let's remember The originator and the source of black energy is a black mother, and I came from one. So when I tell you, I don't care how fast you can talk around circles about your day, if I see that you're not taking the time to put in the work, if you're not taking the time to listen to yourself, if you're not taking the time to understand that nothing happens to you, it happens around you, and therefore you choose to either stay in that environment or you choose to keep letting yourself be limited in that environment. Again, conditionally, where you grow up, hood, this, that, country, sad, trailer, I don't care about that stuff, honestly. Because I've seen some beautiful people come out of really fucked up situations, and that just shows you how strong the human condition is. And so for me, that tells me it's all more about the soul than it is the actual environment. So if you're sitting within that world, accepting it as your reality, that's soul work, my love. And so your daily happenings and reactions will always be whatever you're trained to be, told to be, how to eat, how to talk, how to dress. All I mean, I've seen it so many times, and it still shocks me when I still see these videos where they're having men like, what about masculinity? What kind of man? That's a woman. What kind of person? Bro, masculinity has nothing to do with the other person. You do know that, right? Masculinity comes to how you like to protect your world and your environment and how you forge life into this world. Feminine energy is how you love to nurture and how you can continually bring life into this world and continually give life even while the life has moved on. That's why the mother connection to the child is so strong. It's the same with the father too, but the father or the masculine energy, which again has no sex, we've done this before, no sex is attached to the biological part of the title of mother and father. Okay, and masculine and feminine, these are energies and their attributes, but they're not something that defines any of us sexually. So knowing who you are as a masculine and a feminine energy within a world that is going to energetically push both on you at the same time interchangeably, why not would you want to look into yourself and be able to say, whatever, these energies are not mine to own, but they're replications of how far we come as a collective. If we're choosing to stay in a distorted energy of anger and frustration, then we're going to get the replication we see all throughout the news now. But if you start to see, like, even though I hate this and I hate seeing people dying and hurting and being in pain, I also know that if there's no platform for people to go somewhere to really get a relief and understand how to grow so that the next generations know what to do with this type of negative energy or redirected energy that's not directed in the right place, because you can get a lot of energy. This is transfer energy. Someone can come into the room and be in that stank attitude, and you say hi, they get mad at you for saying hi, and now you in a bad mood. Like, that's redirecting. Ugh, why you saying hi to me? I thought that's what people do. Good for you. I've had plenty of people I say hi to, they don't say hi back, and I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I see people get upset about that. Daily happenings, everything's going to come at you when you don't understand what's really happening, but it doesn't mean it's always for you to take on, and it definitely doesn't mean it's for you to identify with. Sometimes it's just there. I mean, just like you walk by a tree, you don't stop to identify every single tree and what it does to you or what it does for you, but we know that they have a function and a purpose greater than ourselves. And I feel this truly for each individual that I meet and every environment that I've been in and every situation that I go through. It's all there for me to choose how to grow. And if I choose to grow my own path, then this is where the soul work comes in, of knowing that I have to be balanced and in a place of silence and peace within myself and my soul. Remember, the soul incarnated this body. The body is only going to replicate what the soul needs. So if the soul says, hey, I need to cry, cry. Don't fight it and try to break yourself down mentally to convince yourself, big boys, big girls don't cry. Okay, well, they do, or you wouldn't have tear ducts. I'm just saying, find ways to love yourself, find ways to make yourself happy. Listen to music, draw, talk, write, whatever. And it doesn't matter how dark it is, because it's an art form of releasing the emotional energy and the interpretation of our environment, that we as human beings are sensory organs that we're meant to re-give back and teach each other. This is how we survive. This is how we show love. When we show each other how to tell a story about our survival of our emotions and what we've gone through conditional upbringing, then we find a better way to come together and heal collectively. All right, so learn how to say whatever. God's on my side, and I'm going to be all right. Okay? Take care of yourselves, guys. As always, check me out on my social media platforms and my website, epicenity.org. I love you. Mwah.